Welcome to the 19th interview from marketing-interview.com. We have Maziar Firoozmand as our guest today. He's Chief Marketing Officer at Artbees. Artbees is a software company known for creating high-quality WordPress themes and tools, most notably the Jupiter X theme. Welcome, Maziar. How are you?
Hello, Noah, and hello to your audience. I'm pretty good in this hot summer day here in Istanbul, where I'm currently residing, and it's a pleasure being part of this.
That's great. That's great. Nice to have you here. Maziar, why did
Wait.
you decide to go into marketing and how did all of it start?
Well, my education was not related directly to marketing, neither software development. I'm a graduate of acting and directing from prestigious uh, colleges. And I had a solid career back in my 20s in acting and directing. But in parallel, I was running this small startup with my brother, which is now a co-founder and the CEO of my company, Artbees. Before a third person, a friend of mine, Bob, who's our CTO as well, joined us. Back in time, I was running these two in parallel. And at some point, I saw the intersection of these two apparently unrelated fields is marketing and somehow sales. So even though I worked in different fronts in my career in Artbees, like designing at the beginning specifically, because that was how we started by creating design and graphics assets, some of them as freebies to make a community and contribute to the community in DeviantArt back in time. Some of your audience might remember. And then in Graphic River, part of the modern marketplaces, which was not for free, of course, for profit. That was how we started Artbees. And then we actually got into the WordPress path. So during these years, I saw marketing is actually a good point that shares the, values and challenges and opportunities of these two. You have actually a chance to come up with creative ways of showing the value of your product to a potential buyer that you know is suffering from a pain, a problem, and actually marketing gave me that opportunity because when you are actually acting or directing something, a play, a show, or something, you are trying to find the connotations and bold them inside your presentations, acting, uh, whether it's a stage play or a show or a movie. And this kind of discourse analysis that you do, you try to find the messages, underlying messages, the connotations and stuff. So this actually, at some point, gave me a PowerPoint in my marketing career. So I can say the second part of my Artbees journey has been through marketing. And like I said, the assets I grabbed during my education and my acting and directing career helped me that way.
That's great. That's great. I also see a lot of parallels between movies and marketing because it has to start off with something that is exciting or something that catches the viewer's eye, like a good headline,
Exactly.
right? And then you have to viewer focused, and that's with a good story. And also marketing, you have to promote good stories. So I saw something in filmmaking that was really crucial for marketing as well. And I saw it in a TED talk from somebody of Pixar, of the Pixar team. And he was
That's right.
talking about the switch of emotions. So he was saying, in order to maximize the viewer's emotions, you have some positive scenes, some positive emotions, then some negative emotions, then positive, negative, positive. And if you switch them up often, and at the end you have then the final negative emotion where everything goes to shit, right? And then
Yeah.
finally it resolves. That's when the people cry. That's something you can also use for marketing, and I saw a lot of big companies who are using it, which I then noticed after listening to this TED talk. So I also see a lot of parallels between these two.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of things happening in, like, we take it for granted in narratives or storytelling that is actually borrowed from the world of drama. the roots. So it has roots in drama. For example, the words like first impression, suspension, catharsis. These are the things that we actually, all the salesmen, all the marketing people are actually using them, even though some of them might not be aware of it, but they are all coming from there. For example, the thing that we say, we start explaining the pain points in a explainer video for a product. Why do we start with that? These are all coming from that literature, from ancient Greek plays. You define the pain points. You bold the drama, the problem, and at some point, when you have reached the climax, then release the solution, and then the happiness, like you said, this feeling of happiness and satisfaction begins, and all the problems are went away, and this is thanks to the protagonist, which is the product in this case. So yeah, it definitely has a very important role in storytelling and, of course, marketing.
Definitely, definitely. So you said you went to acting school before, and then immediately you went or while doing that parallelly, you founded this company Artbees.
Yeah, it was in parallel.
It was in parallel.
Yes, yes.
How has that been for you? Was it a lot of stress for you to juggle both of these things together?
Yeah, it was. It was challenging, and I have to admit that I failed to take all the challenges and overcome all the challenges, because otherwise I would have been I would be an actor still. So at some point I had to give up one of them, and I chose the acting one. It had its own advantages and disadvantages, but I'm happy with the course I've taken.
But don't you think there's always a possibility to go back to acting? I mean, there's so many movie roles, or if it's even some series role, where you could do it parallelly again.
Yeah, if I had that time machine and I had the chance to go back in time, I would definitely try some more options. Not that I say I would choose the other one over this, but I'm sure there would be some possibilities I would want to try, like to continue these both in parallel, somehow manage my time. But it's hard to say, because it's a highly related thing to the context of time and place that you cannot replicate when you're sitting at this time being, right? You had to take all the challenges in mind. But if I had that opportunity, I would definitely take it.
But I mean, nowadays, if somebody would give you a movie role, or if somebody would give you a series role, would you take that chance, or would you say you have too much to do?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yes, I would. I wouldn't say no. If you know anyone, please share my contact with them.
Definitely, definitely. So, what has helped you to grow and develop the most in the field of marketing?
What has been the most important role? Are you asking?
What has helped you to grow and develop the most in the field of marketing?
Well, I can say the best lesson I have got over the years is that you learn from the mistakes. You don't turn your back on the issues and the problems specifically because of the bond you have with your product. Because this is a trap that many of us entrepreneurs, marketing people, product makers fall in, which is making a bound with what they believe is right, what product they are working on. It can be simply false. It can be simply wrong, and you have to be courageous enough and brave enough to, first of all, discover it, detect the issue, and if you see that it's not going anywhere, it's not getting solved, you just have to stop at some point. This is a very important lesson I've got, and I can say it has directly affected my performance goals and objectives over time as well, both in product design and marketing. That these are two fields that I have been active over the years. This lesson has proved to be very true, and I definitely recommend it with fellow marketers and product makers. This was like more of a subjective thing, and maybe it's too general. But if you ask specific objectives that I'd like to share with your audience. I would say choose a methodology for yourself before you start anything. I'm not saying that methodologies or books or I don't know these schools of thoughts, this or that, are something that everyone should follow word by word. It's there's a lot of complexity in this, but if you get to know and educate yourself about different management methodologies, um, or productivity methodologies, if you educate yourself, you better be sure that you can extract some insights and very useful things for yourself and your career that will prove handy at some point. I specifically want to talk about the lean startup methodology that I actually got a chance to educate myself about in the middle of my career, actually in the beginning of my 30s. Yeah, which revolutionized my understanding of product making, product ideating a product, and then executing it, and then creating customers for yourself and how to retain those customers, when to begin and when to stop. The concepts of pivot and perseverance, and obviously the lean understanding of the product, how you should start a product, and why it should be lean, why I should wear extra things and try to trim away all those extra things, both in resources, both in the ideas, both in the features in the product. You have to be just define yourself a goal in the product that you think is the most important thing, and then try to achieve it, show it to the market, see the feedback, and then continue building on it. If you see that it's not working or it's not welcome, well, there's a problem. You have to change your direction. So I can say these has been two most important and effective things in my career.
Definitely, that's a good one. I'm also a big believer of a lean startup. I'm also a big believer of a small but very effective team. I don't want to grow too big as well. I mean, good. It's fine if you grow over time, but in the beginning, it's just too much hassle. All of this management and to have all of these costs around you. And I see a lot of startup people, especially when they have some money before, they invest a whole bunch of money in their product design and their marketing, but don't actually go to the market, as you said before. And that's the biggest mistake that you can make, I think, even in the beginning stages when you're not ready with the product, when it's just a beta version or not even a beta version. You should immediately go to the market and speak to them, because maybe they say this is shit, but we can use this part of your product, and then you can specifically focus on that, and you don't waste all of this time.
Sure. But exactly, it can change your idea of your product in a very constructive way.
That's a very good point. Can you explain a little more about the core concept of the lean startup?
Well, I have had presentations about lean startup in WordCamps and some conferences. I really admire this methodology. Just to give you some highlights, is that you have to define the problem first. You have to start small and try to remain small as much as you can. You should not, if you have a big idea, you do not need to execute all of the details and all of the things that you are foreseeing or you are dreaming about. You have to start with the most important thing that you think is carrying or doing the main mission for your possible user, and the thing that takes away their problems and their pains. And once it's received positive feedback and you have started monetizing your product, you go for more. The concept of pivot and perseverance is very important, and I think the most important thing here, because everyone agrees on the importance of the pivot and perseverance, but the thing is the bravery, and the thing, this special moment that you question yourself about the idea and the direction that you are in. That is a key point. That's a key, moment. And you have to be brave enough to see without all the biases. You just you just wipe all the biases away from your site and look at the product with the statistics. You have to make yourself comfortable with numbers and analytics. Actually, you can use the lean analytics concept as well, which is a very good supplement to the lean startup. It's actually part of it. look at the lean the analytics and the statistics to understand the product and how it's performing and the feedbacks of the users. All of these will give you, the willingness to make a shift or continue in the direction that you're in. I'd like to also talk about growth hacking. Growth hacking is
Big one.
actually, in a way, part of the lean startup or lean thinking in a way. And I'm sure for many, startups, for many ventures, this is a problem. The problem of getting traction once you have validated your idea. You have created something good, and the first signals are positive, and you actually have even started monetizing that to some point. But you're not getting traction because people out there are like you have giant competitors. Let's say you are in, I don't know, email marketing or marketing automation or website builder space. These are like overly saturated niches in the market, and there are many competitors out there. So you say, hey, what am I doing here? There are people out there who are ready to pay with, like, I don't know, $1,000 for a click or something like that. How can I compete with them? So this is where growth hacking can help you, this type of methodology. And it's very fortunate to know, it's very fortunate for us that this is the chance that you have and the big players do not have, because they cannot go lean. They are incorporated, they have board of directors, they have hundreds of, maybe thousands of employees. Yeah. It's very difficult for them to change direction.
That's true.
But you're small, you have you do not much to lose, or you have a very small budget at a stake. You have a runway, and it's much more limited than what they have in their pockets. So these is actually your advantage over them. And I'd say it definitely should be put into good use, especially in the first phases of starting and growing a startup.
That's a big one as well. I have the book Growth Hacking by Sean Ellis, and it was a big insight for me. Were you talking about this book in general, or were you just talking about growth hacking in general?
The one I was talking about is by Ryan Holiday. The book is called Growth Hacker Marketing, revised and expanded. It's by Ryan Holiday.
Okay.
And the other book I have to recommend is Lean Startup by Eric Rice. Okay. That's like the Bible for the lean methodology.
I will put both of these books into the description.
That'd be great.
Growth hacking was also a huge thing for me, because in the beginning I was just a Facebook ads marketer, and I had these Facebook ads strategies. But not for every company, Facebook ads is the best. And that's something I had to learn the hard way, right? When you have customers and you give them your Facebook ad service and it just doesn't work out. Maybe the product was shit, it's true. A lot of these products were shit, and these companies also went bankrupt after some years, because they also didn't follow some advice I gave them, change directions, as you said, listen to the market. Now we've tested your approach with Facebook ads, nobody is responding to it. Please change your product design, just do something about it. We cannot work with this. No, we have to keep going into this direction. This has to work, right? This is just the wrong approach. But it showed me that there are also a lot of other very important and very interesting approaches how to get customers way cheaper. And there was, for example, some story in this book that they had this platform like eBay in America, and Airbnb, they didn't have the budget to do any ads on Google or other platforms, and they used this platform, which was kind of like eBay, kind of different. In German, you say eBay Kleinanzeigen. And they put some ads up in this platform, and it worked very well for them and gave them a lot of traction in the beginning. So there was kind of like the startup strategy for Airbnb. And I think these approaches are so good for companies, and you just have to find where you can place your product without having to spend a lot of money on marketing. Because, I mean, once you have traction, you have some marketing budget, you can invest into whatever ad platform, into paid media, you can do SEO, whatever it is. It would be all more or less successful. But then you have the budget to test it. as you said also in the beginning, in the before, when you're just starting out, you don't have this budget to test all of that stuff. And that's a very good point. That's a very good point. I also am a huge fan of growth hacking, and also of these methodologies, how you can test these different strategies, right? Because first, before you start testing, even you have to order your ideas. Like, okay, which idea has the most potential, and then after that, you go into testing. You see, okay, which was the best for you, and then even then, once you have something that's working for you, some channel that's working for you, you don't want to just rely on that one channel, right? Maybe in the beginning it's fine, but then also you have to build your other channels. You can even still use this one channel which is working very well for you, for your growth channel. Like, this is your most important channel, but
Yes.
never ever invest all of your marketing budget into just one channel. That's the worst thing you can ever
Yes.
do.
Exactly. Exactly. And also, I'd like to add a point on top of what you said, that paying for traction, it should be the last option for the startup. Some startup that you have just started and you have a very limited money. You cannot just go and spend, uh, bucks on getting clicks. You have to think of organic ways. You have to think of partnerships. You have to think of a way to get stickiness to your product first, and make sure the person who's using your product is going to be willing to recommend your product to someone else, and that is going to add some new members, at least one new member to your user, that at some point might become a paying user, and this is going to be end up completely for free to you. Otherwise, you would have paid for a click of that person. You don't know if you could have been successfully getting their attention in your landing page. But if you get someone happy with your product, make sure you can be at least hopeful that they will recommend it to someone else, and that will add up some new user for free. Like you correctly mentioned, the measurement is also a big an important part of the lean methodology. This feedback trio that they call, which is like building a small and then measuring that with right KPIs. And KPIs is very important. You should not look at the vanity metrics, what they call, like the number of traffic that you get, the number of visits that you're getting. You should look at the insightful metrics that are actually a reflection of success, a reflection of conversion in your website, in your app, and whatever. And then you understand and get your lesson, and then reflect those insights and understandings to your next round of iterations in your product. And this feedback, this threefold process should continue forever, even though it's not true, because at some point when you grow and you get investors and stuff, this can be really difficult to follow. But there are people out there who are really and still loyal to this kind of methodology.
Definitely, that's a good point. That's a good point. Do you have
Yes.
children, if I may ask, Mazia?
I don't. I've just married like a year ago.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So let's imagine you had children. What advice would you give your children if they wanted to follow the same path as you and started from scratch?
I would say, try to find the most unique attributes in yourself and try to invest in them first. It wouldn't be like when they are 5 or 6 years old, of course. But if you're talking about like an adult in their 15s or 16s, who are like in the beginning of building their future, I would definitely recommend this, because some fields might be I don't know, trending, and there are things that everyone talks about. These like software development, coding, cryptocurrencies. I don't know, real estate. These are the things that everyone is talking about, and is a I don't know, is a meant for a secured future, right? If you get a job, secure yourself a job in technology or software development, you're gonna build a fortune. You're gonna make a good life for yourself. Yeah, it can be true, but it's for today. You don't know what's gonna happen, and especially in today's world that is completely dynamic and changes even every day. It's not like even 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It would take like 5 years, 10 years to something to become a paradigm, like social media that happened in our times, or the AI, or the crypto, the blockchain. So in future, it's gonna all of these technologies might become a paradigm in a course of a day, a course of a week. So first of all, you have to find the unique attribute and trait in yourself and try to invest in that, not
Definitely.
looking at popular only. Yeah, well, yeah, you can invest your time becoming, building a development career for yourself, but then tomorrow AI will come and it's gonna just remove the need to a person who are sitting and coding a software. Just saying, that's not my personal belief, but I'm saying this can happen. So I would say go for try to find your unique attributes and invest in, even if it's not popular and trending right now. That is your biggest and most valuable asset.
These are good points. These are very good points. And I see a lot of the young people nowadays when they're 15, 16 years old, just sitting around at home and looking at TikTok or Instagram. And I think to myself, that's such a waste of time. But even if you waste your time like that, if you're just sitting around on TikTok and Instagram, then follow the pages that give you some insightful content, some
Yeah.
education for yourself. I mean, when I was younger, I especially cut out all of the negative music, all of the drug music of my playlist. It was just more motivational music in order to motivate and even to kind of manipulate myself,
Mhm.
because well, who else is going to tell you let's go out and do something, let's go and work. I mean, it's yourself telling it to yourself. And if you use music for that, if you use your social media for that, then it will maybe take some time, but you will do it eventually. If you're listening to somebody who's constantly telling you, dude, go out, do something,
Yeah,
go out, do
yeah.
something. And I see a lot of the young people just looking at these memes and looking at these funny videos and sitting there on their phone for days and days and days. They don't do nothing. If I was 15 years old again, I would concentrate on getting very good in marketing, getting very good in sales, getting very good in negotiation, getting very good in business strategy, positioning, copywriting, all of this stuff, in order to become a very good marketer. Or I mean, me personally, I wanted to become a founder, right? But in order to be a good founder, you need to be a very good marketer. In most cases, in some cases, okay, marketing is not that big of a part of founding a company, but in most cases, I would say marketing is the best route to go, and if you wanted to become a good entrepreneur. And also,
Yeah.
if you go into a field when there's no big marketing required, or the competitors are doing shit marketing, you have such a huge advantage if your marketing is on point. Because I see all of these B2B companies, they are making millions, but their marketing is not on point at all, right? So I think once you are very good at marketing, you can do business very easily. Also because it's every sector of a company. It's not just okay, you communicate something. You have to communicate prices. You have to communicate your branding. You have to communicate to your employees. You have to communicate everything. So it's kind of everything for your company. And when it comes to sales, speaking is also everything. I mean, what's politics? It's just two people sitting or it's just a bunch of people sitting together in a room talking something.
Yes.
That's sales as well. And I see that a lot of young people are not following this sort of behavior, that they can be successful or set themselves up to be successful.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, I completely agree with you. The thing is that unfortunately, the current generation, I don't know, was it Gen Z? The those that they are in teenage years at least are the highest or the most active users and consumers of social media, specifically TikTok. And when I'm thinking, in our time, social media was like quite new. in 2008, 2009, when I was in my 20s, this thing popped up, and it took years to become such a big phenomenon of its times. And we still had like things to do outside, even though we were maybe all so much attached to our computer, these dial-up connected PCs back in time. There was no smartphones until like 2010. In our times, we had activities out there. We would go and play. I don't know, this activity that I have is probably different than yours and yours from someone else, but we all had things to do out there. And this all helped us develop some social skills. Now we are coming to an age where every major technology, no, let's not say everyone, but majority of them are encouraging you, the technological advancements, encouraging you to just, you know, get your behind your smartphone and just tapping, continue tapping forever, scrolling bottom to top. Or I don't know, this AR VR technology that is the new thing, or maybe one of the next new things, the big things. This is also the Vision Pro, for example, by Apple. When I'm looking at it, it's like a symbol of its time. It's not just a product that, hey, you can just pay this massive amount of money and sit down somewhere and entertain yourself on your own without the need to just interact with people. You just, this is the rest of the path that is started by social media. And yeah, it's called social media, but it's in fact it's not social.
That's a good one.
So this might be going off topic, but I want to bring this to this point that, hey, marketing and sales, it's about communicating. First of all, before anything, you have to be able to communicate with someone else. It can be communicating the value of the product, but that doesn't begin there. You have to educate yourself. You have to make yourself open to communicate with people. You have to develop those skills in you. You have to be able to start a topic and discuss it with some stranger, some random passerby, and talk about it. And they shouldn't. They should welcome it. They should be interested in it. So you have to make yourself an interesting person. You have to be able to talk, give speeches, I don't know, be brave enough and courageous enough to share your points in public. So these are the things that I can say are lacking in the current generation. Not talking about all of them, of course, but the lifestyles of our times are encouraging people, the young people, to become like that. And it will be no wonder for us if we see that this generation, when they reach their 20s, 30s, might lack some even deeper social skills. All of this is, in my personal opinion, caused by this culture of just getting behind the technological gadget, whatever you have, even it's a VR headset or it's a smartphone. So I would definitely recommend that. And one of the points that you asked how your former career helped you was this. Well, I was good at going on the stage, talking to people, and making their attention, make them believe something that is actually not true. I was able to lie to them for a good purpose, of course. But that's all acting and drama is about. You're lying about something, and everyone will believe it up to the point of crying and laughing to it, and leaving the stage in this, leaving the the hall with tears on their face, which is called catharsis in Greek terminology, instead of catharsis. So that's all about marketing as well. You have to be able to lie. I'm just exaggerating, of course, but look at the way the big corporations are trying to sell something in their advertisement, their marketing tone, and their the way they are carefully select these shots, the words and everything in the movies. It's not just the advertisement. The movies are in a way selling values to us as well. Look at the Hollywood, for example. You cannot say they are just for fun. There are underlying meaning in there as well, which is the topic of a discussion of discourse analysis. But these are all encoded inside that piece of text or show or whatever that you're seeing. So this actually helped me directly with the fact that I was able to go and talk about, for example, lean startup on a stage. And during that specific talk, I was able to bring some examples from my own business. And that was how I was able to make the audience interested in my business as well, right? Well, I was talking about a useful topic like lean analytics or lean startup, but then I was bringing case studies from my own business. And this is how I actually got their attention in a positive way. And then without pushing them too aggressively about selling my business, I got their interest in my business as well. So these are the skills that I'm sure will come handy for anyone who plans something in sales and marketing.
That's true. That's very true. And you also mentioned a good point, going out there and speaking to strangers, because I know that people will get rejected. Everyone will be rejected at times. And to deal with that correctly is also a big part of it. I see these young people, they give up very quickly. I mean, it can't be everyone, right? But the people that I got into contact with, okay, we wanted to play some Xbox together. The controller's not working. Okay, what do we do now? We have to find something or a new controller, some cable or a new controller to connect it. Then I found a cable, connected it, didn't work. Oh, it didn't work out. Okay, come on, let's do something else. No, man, how can we now? How can we stop right now? Let's fix the problem, even if it takes us half an hour. Let's do it. Like, how can you give up on something? Let's try, and then if it fails after half an hour, then let's do something else. But we cannot give up after we didn't find another cable or something. That's crazy, and we have to stick to that, and that's also what the rejection is about. It might be that you go out there and you try something and you talk to maybe 50 people and all of them are rejecting you, especially in the beginning, especially when you're not that well with your product, especially when you don't know the specifics as well as you will know in the future, especially when you don't have all of the social proof. You will get rejected way more times than you will be rejected in the future. But that's the way you need to go forward, right? It will all become easier. The start is the hardest part, but then once you keep going, it becomes just easier. It becomes easier, and that's what I think is the most difficult about business. To start off, like to set this initial, okay, I'm going to start. That's a very big jump, because once you're starting and you keep going, it's kind of easier. But then to handle also all of this rejection in the beginning, and to just stay positive, to keep going, to move in the direction that you need to go in. And I hope for the young generation that a lot of them can bring it, even though they are just consuming TikTok and their attention span is very low, and they don't want to work on problems a lot. So that's something I hope for the young generation.
Likewise. Well, they definitely have stuff that we didn't have, and they have different values than we used to have, and in a way they might be like completely revolutionary. I'm not here sitting to judge them. They might be changing the course of humanity in future. I'm just looking at these are my current observations, and well, they have like very important things that we didn't used to have. For example, they started in a connected world. Our world was not connected as much as it is today. They get to learn coding, if they do, from very young ages, from very early ages, and this is something serious. This can just be game changing. So let's sit and watch. I hope that they will put this into good use.
I think so. That something great is happening with them, because they have so much more opportunity with all of this AI that's going to help them to make their job even easier, and to get more done more quickly. It can, but it can also be more stressful, because once it's normal for somebody to work on 10 customers instead of one customer, because now they have AI and they can be so much quicker done with one customer, it can be way more stressful. Before you could just set your mind to one thing, and then you could just focus on that, 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 and you had maybe 1 week to work on a project, and now you have to work on 10 projects within a week because it's just the industry standard, right? So
Yeah.
AI can also make it a little more difficult because the industry standard is going to change after a while, once everybody is using AI, and the quality should be even higher because now everybody has the same tools to compete with you. Now everybody
Mhm.
can give these good answers, and now you have to study maybe even more to give them some better answers, or to convince somebody, I'm not just an expert, I'm an excellent expert. I know even more than AI can give you right now. I can lead AI in the correct direction. So I see a couple of challenges with it because before, let's say you were a marketing consultant before, and
Yes.
somebody, like people, they needed you for your work. Now they have AI, so they're comparing you to AI. Do you want to pick
Yeah.
you, or do I want to pick AI right now? And then you have to say, okay, I can use AI better with than you could use AI, and I can show you more with AI, or
Right.
have some unique selling points that are interesting for your potential
Yeah.
customers, right?
Yeah. The other day I was looking at a meme, quite funny, that was showing this guy in the storefront holding this sign in his hand saying, "We are making completely hand." This is something happening in soon future in the AI times and AI dominance times. We are selling completely hand coded websites with organic content. Uh, no AI generated imagery, no AI generated content and stuff. And this is gonna become something like what we have in the supermarkets. Like there's this section about organic or bio labeled sections in the stores. People are willing to pay more, saying this is the real deal. The others are drug, the others are fake and unhealthy and stuff. So maybe in future, if someone happens to build a website completely by coding it manually, everything built organically, that will be something special, and people will go for it. But the joke aside, I completely agree with you. I'm sure everything and everyone will be affected by the emergence and super fast growing of AI now and in future, especially in future. But I actually do not think it's look at it as a threat, at least not yet. I think, well, the corporate greed is still there, and this can go out of control and at some point become something not in the benefit of humanity. That is a possibility, but that's not the only possibility. They might be very, productive and constructive outcomes of, AI in future in different industries. In our case, in marketing and development and stuff, I think there at this point we have to think about building something that uses AI for us in a useful way and put its power into good use. Building products on top of AI and making something, like you said, that is not possible for AI to do on its own. Look at the copy that AI does give you. It's not the copy that you get from a graduate of, I think, English literature
Yeah,
from a good university. That's not the same.
true.
I can say it does give you good content to build upon, or it can just make many people irrelevant. But still, it's not as much as is as good as the outcome or the product that you get from someone who is a specialized or trained for this and educated for this.
I
So
just made this points five interviews ago. This exactly the same. I just say it's exactly the same. This is very true. It's very true.
yes, yeah. I don't look at it as a threat, but I'm sure there are many things that will be relevant after AI in my, you know, my specific case, and I'm trying to adapt to them, not to run away from it or to thrash it or make it like, well, we're doomed and the future is robots killing us and stuff. I don't look at it this way, but I think if we don't want to get removed or become irrelevant by AI. We have to, um, you know, train ourselves to take control of it and make its power. Let's say not take control. That's maybe too much. It's not in our league to take control of AI. It's Sam Altman's maybe, but we can actually get its massive power in and bring it into a specific channel to our use, to our goal.
That's true.
And there are many different examples of this, especially in development world. Um, and yeah, this is how I look at the future in terms of AI.
That's a good view. That's a good view. When we look at your career as a whole, is there a moment in your career that you are particularly proud of?
Well, I cannot say I'm proud of specific things, but I can say that there has been points or moments that I'm happy that happened to me, or I was exposed to it. Especially about the mistakes that I happened to discover. Me and my team, actually, all of us happened to discover at some point, and we were um, brave enough to understand there is something is wrong, and we took our lesson and made the right decision at that point. Um, this is a point of happiness, but not to the point of being proud of it. Well, maybe in future there will be something that I will be proud of. There's been achievements that was done or achieved thanks to my efforts and also my teammates, of course, but not something that I specifically and personally be proud of.
Understand, understand. Yeah, I believe so too. In retrospective, I believe the tough times seem even tougher because then you see, okay, I went through this tough periods and it was pretty tough. Now I have the overview of all of the stuff that happened to me. And also the happy periods of your life become way more happier. You're way more happy with whatever it is, if it's a woman that you were with, or if it was your friends that you were with, or if it was your family, right? These happy moments become even more joyful once you don't have them anymore in your life, and that's something you just have once you look back on it, and that's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
to be proud about also.
Exactly, exactly. They say that you get to know the value of the things that you have when you lose them or lose those things. That is absolutely true. That's actually my, let's say, one of the like primary uh, philosophies that I follow and I'm loyal to in my time in my life. That you should know what you have and acknowledge it, and you should know that it's something that the other some random person doesn't have it and you have it, and you might not have it tomorrow. So this is definitely important both in personal and you know business life. But back to your previous questions, I actually got something in my mind that I want to complete my response to that question about something
Definitely.
that you're proud of. If you were asking about the business or my career, well, I think we got to know the power of WordPress and the possibilities it brings on the table in the good time, in the right time. Before it was this popular and there was this much of competition and saturation that we have today. Uh, we got to know it in the right time. I actually can say I had an important role in this. I myself, and this was a bless actually, um, and also this thing that the whole world is going to change with this AI. Uh, well, we should all be happy that we saw the times before the prevalence of AI, because like you said, marketing agency, the marketing expert, the web designer, the web developer, these might all be something of the past in very soon future. Soon future or future, I'm not sure, but this can be a possibility. This is one of the scenarios. And we can say that we were lucky to be the person or the generation that saw the both uh, scenarios before and after this AI age. And life would be much more difficult, much more comfortable. I don't know, but it would have its own challenges if it we were like, I don't know, we were in our teenage years, for example, right now.
That's true. That's true. And that's what I also always tell my grandparents. I tell them, you are so lucky to witness this digitalization because you witness the biggest jump in humanity, actually, from growing up without any, okay, from growing up with just radio to seeing now AI. That's such a huge leap to witness. I mean,
Yeah.
all of this progress that we made in these years. I mean, okay, it's maybe it's kind of difficult to keep up with the digitalization and to use all of these electronics, to use a computer, to get to your emails in the computer. I always help them out with this, but still, it's such a big leap that this generation could witness. And I'm also looking forward to the leaps that we are witnessing in our generation. What's going to happen in the future, right? I mean,
Yes.
we think AI is now the big thing. Wait until we see robots on the streets and nobody's or a lot of people are flying in drones. Like this, these are
Sure.
the changes that I believe are going to happen. That we see these robots and people
Yeah.
are not even driving cars anymore so much, but they flying with drones. These are such huge things that are going to happen in the next couple of 50 or 60 years, probably.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Maybe AI will be something of the past. There will be AGI, or I don't know, A something else. I don't know.
Quantum
But
AI, quantum AI.
some AI, or I don't know, colonization of different planets. And
Ah, that would be also awesome.
there's no
So
end in this, like Einstein said. Um, there will be always something to strive for and to, look forward to.
th-
It's not going to be the end of the world.
that's true. That's true. Tell me a little more about Artbees. What is Artbees about as a company?
Well, if I want to, summarize what we do or the type of products that we do, Artbees works in website building solutions, e-commerce solutions, and marketing automation solutions. So far, these have been our fields. Our primary product, our primary technology is or has been WordPress so far. We have built themes and plugins and services on top of WordPress. WordPress is an open source content management system, as you know. Um, and our flagship product has been Jupyter X with about 200,000 users worldwide from different countries. It's been there in development and maintenance for like 11 years since 2023, solely sold on Team Forest. That's our primary product. We have SellKit, which is a checkout optimization plugin for WooCommerce stores that helps you, optimize your checkout, increase your average order value, build smart coupons based on the customer loyalty and interactions with your website and your products. Build dynamic discounts based on variety of conditions like geolocation, again, RFM metrics, the customer loyalty metrics, and checkout notices. Lastly, which is the notices that you see around the page, especially top of the page while you're in the checkout session, trying to place your order. You see, for example, upselling suggestions or FOMO notices like, you know, buy, finish your checkout in like
Yeah.
5 minutes and get this amount of discount, or buy more to get one free, buy more to get your shipping for free, stuff like that. And then some other products, for example, WP Done, which is a WordPress customization or custom WordPress development service, not a product, but a service that we provide to users who want something beyond the pre-made plugins or themes and templates of WordPress. Let it be a specific plugin development for their own usage, or some custom design or custom feature that they want to implement in a WordPress theme or plugin, that type of things, and some others.
I understand. I understand. Um, what is your biggest challenge right now with Artbees, or your challenges that you are facing right now?
Um, the biggest challenge of all time versus the biggest challenge that we have currently. The biggest challenge that we currently have is the overly fast transformation of the market and the AI taking over a lot of realms in our field. And it's very difficult to predict a secure spot when you're trying to build new products, and that won't be affected or won't be affected in an adverse way in future by AI. You have to think this through to understand that you have, well, you want to invest to build this product, um, and it's not going to be in danger like at least in a year time. So the shortest answer to your question is to build new products. Building new products is really challenging because of the space, the product space that we have. Um, this is in general, but if you ask about the current products and the challenges that we have had, at least like in the last 5 6 years, is the limitations of WordPress. That is why we have actually thought about the ways to consider other technologies when it's time, or in specific cases, some products are better built not in WordPress or on top of WordPress and on top of other technologies. Um, I'm not saying WordPress is a limited or, I mean, limiting or liberating technology. WordPress is WordPress, and every technology has its advantages and disadvantages. Some use cases are perfectly, uh, you know, matching with WordPress and whatever qualities it has. Some don't, some does not, some do not. And we have been thinking to resolve some of these challenges. We better not rely on WordPress to build new products. So yeah, these has been the most important challenges we have had.
What other solutions would you consider other than WordPress?
Well, I have to jump into the details on this. The limitations of the problems with WordPress, first of all, from the end user's side, is that it has a lots of ins and outs. There's a lot of details that you have to deal with, and some users are not happy with it, or some users do not subscribe to this when they want to build a website. You cannot tell them, well, WordPress is extendable, it has a community, it has a culture, well, it promotes the diversity and community. They will say, okay, I don't care about this. I want a product, I want a website that works and it's easy to maintain for me because I'm not a developer. Yeah. And I don't care about these values, right? And he's right, actually. So these people want something solid and secure and easy to work with. Well, WordPress is not for them. This is from end user's side. From the builder or maker side, there are problems with WordPress. First of all, in the community of WordPress, since it's a nonprofit, the WordPress Foundation is a nonprofit, and it's basically built and maintained by community of volunteers, either individuals or the people who are sponsored by WordPress companies, WordPress related companies, let's say, like major plugin producers or hosting services that are like too big right now, a big part of WordPress community. So these are putting their specific group of their staff or their developers to contribute to WordPress code base, fixing bugs, creating new features and everything, and helping in a voluntarily way. And that is good. That is there to promote diversity and open source, which is the foundation of the WordPress. But next to its values and these positive things, which I completely agree, there are like limitations, such as not being a solid leadership or very bulletproof workflow, maintenance workflow. You may happen to get your plugin suspended or removed temporarily by some reviewer in the plugin review team in the repository, which is not on a payroll, and they will see your software, your code is not matching with the criteria, that is not 100%, to my personal opinion, obvious and available to everyone in the community. It's not matching. Just by one criteria not matching, you may get restricted.
Sounds German to me. That sounds German.
Yes, exactly. And there are people out there who are not following that practice, and they are big plugins, big services, that their product is not taken down, even temporarily. And some of these are happening by, not deliberately to, ruin you or your product, or not following any agenda. But still, it can be questionable because some like major plugins are not following those practices, but they are still live. And when you're asking those, plugin review team in WordPress, they will say, well, you are not that plugin, you are not that product. They are like 10 times your size or this and that, not very constructive responses. So you have this, anyway, let's not go into the details, but the problem with any technology, the biggest problem with any technology is dependency,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And WordPress is no exception. It has its own level of dependencies, especially if you build something on top of another dependent product. Like you're building a team and you're relying on a third-party builder, well, that's dependency on dependency. And then you suddenly see WordPress coming up and promoting Gutenberg, their own native block editor, over other third-party solutions. Well, that can happen. It actually is happening in the search results, or when you see the performance of the websites built over WordPress, those built upon Gutenberg are, well, faster by like considerable amount. So dependency is not good in the, like, business thinking. You should stay away as much as you can. That is why any solution, WordPress or not WordPress, it's better to deal with this very carefully. If you have a chance to build something by yourself, not saying like from scratch, but like using third-party libraries, but giving you as much independency as possible, that would be a safer way to proceed. And if you do not need the specific values that WordPress brings on the table, like extendability and stuff, there's no need to go with WordPress, to continue with WordPress. So this was just the details, but in general, I want to say that every technology has its barriers and advantages. You have to choose carefully. You cannot say WordPress is better than Wix. Wix is better than, I don't know, this other product, whatever it is, for anyone. Well, WordPress is better than X for me, but it can not be the case for you. You might, want to use Wix to build a website. So there's no one-fits-all scenario. And that was an extensive response to your question, I think.
But it was a good point that you made with the dependency. Don't ever be dependent on one platform. I also made a mistake. I used to just run Facebook ads, and I had this business manager where I put all of my ad accounts from my customers into. And one day, Facebook decided to block my bad account, or how you say, banish. It's not banish, to block it probably. Just to block my ad account, to block my business manager. And that was the worst day of my life, because I couldn't go into my ad accounts. I couldn't do no advertisements. I didn't have anything that I could do for my customers for 1.5 months. And how is this possible? There were 40 ad accounts inside of it. I texted them at least 100 times. They didn't do nothing about it for 1.5 months. And this is the worst thing that can happen to you. I don't want
Yes.
ever to be dependent again on one single platform, because it can
Yeah.
just ruin all of your business. They decide if they want to shut you down, or if they don't want to shut you down, you don't even know if they become bankrupt or whatever happens. If you're just dependent on one platform, I mean, this cannot happen to your platform, to WordPress. But if you're dependent on just one platform, there's a huge risk involved with it. It's a
Exactly.
huge risk. And that was a very good point that you made. So I encountered also kind of the same thing, and I feel the pain of dependency. And if I would start a business again, I would never depend myself again on just one single platform. So when it comes to new companies and you wanted to build a brand from scratch, which business model and which industry would you choose, and why?
I think it's quite late, or maybe not preferable for me to completely change my industry right now if I want to stay in the product making pathway. I would go again for marketing tools or automation tools, but with a different mindset than before. I would go not for subscription and like monthly paying models, but rather one-off payment business model. And I would also promote independence, security, ownership of the data uh, in my product over other things. Because what I can see is like people are more and more anxious about the privacy and data, and they are fed up with the way their information is being manipulated, sorry, is used and actually sold to the businesses out there, especially in social media and the search engines. So they really want an end to this, and I'm sure they will welcome something that is carrying this. Privacy and user data ownership is very important in marketing field as well. I would go to build something, a brand new product that gives complete ownership of the data to the user. It's completely white labelable, let's say, and it's completely self-hosted. Like you can just use it to mount it on your own technology stack, whatever it is. You don't need to rely on this specific SaaS running in your browser. You can just take the code and uh, install it over your Amazon server and other technology stacks that we nowadays have. And this type of freedom, I'm sure it's welcomed in today's market space. Yeah.
Where do you see opportunities within this marketing world as a software company?
Why do I see an opportunity?
No, where do you see opportunities?
Well, like I said, for example, in email marketing, there are thousands of solutions out there, and they want to just make you dependent to themselves. They're expensive, they are not forward looking, they have a lot of technical debt that it makes it very difficult for them to bring new features and get themselves, you know, aligned with the AI times. You don't see much of progressive new tools in the marketing automation space. There are a couple of them, actually. One of them that I admire and respect by um, this company behind the Basecamp, if you remember. I think the company is called Signal versus Signal 36, Signal 360, or something like that. That's a very cool. title this company has. Um, and these are actually promoting these values. They're saying that we are going back in the one-off payment times, pay once, because the more we look at the businesses, um the market in, let's say, past 10 years, the more we see we are not owning anything and paying for everything. Let's say paying for everything while not owning anything, right?
Yeah.
Let it be on a personal music streaming services to your cloud subscriptions to this to that. In personal and business, it's just everywhere, right? So now people say, hey, I want to go back in time, like 2000s or 90s, where I like paid $700, for example, and owned a lifetime license of Adobe Photoshop. Well, I'm paying just about the same amount in a year right now, and I don't own nothing at the end of the end of the year. So I think this concept is getting a comeback in our times, and people would love to just own something. Not only the license, I mean the ownership of the product they're paying for, but also the data, because we're under this cloud thing that is just the word of our times for the past 10, 15 years. They say cloud computing. And the cloud computing is basically someone else's computer out there somewhere in China or the States or Europe, whatever, that is storing your data, you and your clients or your users' data. That's not like a real cloud, obviously. So you want to say, you at some point question yourself, hey, what's happening with these information? And everyone has this mistrust in the technology companies using their data, selling them to people. I don't know, mining those information. Now we have come into the current, Apple debut of Apple Intelligence and partnership with OpenAI, and everyone asking, hey, what, you want to partner with OpenAI? Is not having the best history of privacy, and there have been a lot of question marks over this company and the person in the center, Sam Altman. So people are actually welcoming this idea of, hey, I want to still be able to use something without sharing anything of that with some corporation, let alone my users' data, my clients' data. So I think in marketing automation space, this is a good strategy. People would love to pay something, pay once for something, and own its, you understand its code, and there's no hidden uh, layers somewhere down what you see that is doing something evil with your information or your client's information. And this company that I said, the company behind Basecamp, is actually working on a product like that, but it has its also its limitations. And I'm sure with this mindset and this business model, there's a lot of things to do. It's just in marketing automation. There's a lot of different, all type of different SaaSes out there. In fintech and health, that you can actually sell something for a good amount of money, get yourself and your company some good money that you can use to build another product, make it or improve your product without asking people to just pay you every month or push them every month to buy more from you or come back and resubscribe to your service or subscribe to a higher plan.
I understand. You said before that you would rather have this type of one-time payments than this long-term recurring revenue. Is that because you would say the average order value would also be bigger for your company, or would you say it would be just better for the user?
I think in both ways. First of all, it's much more beneficial to the user. And I know it sounds odd to think of this, as a business owner, you have to just think about your pocket and the money that you pocket, right? But I honestly think that it's a benefit for the user. But thing is that people are going more and more, you know, disloyal and not trusting enough to this type of business models. Um, well, they are subscribing to a service, and then their data is and information are there is there, and their clients and users information is there. If they want to change their mind, they might end up getting much limited options to export their data, because companies are implementing this type of strategies to prevent people from moving away from their products. One of them is Wix, right? So you people are not comfortable with this anymore. That I built this massive email list on top of this company like Klaviyo, or I don't know, Mailchimp, Sendinblue, Brevo, whatever, and then I want to change it. There's a lot of there might be a lot of obstacles out there if I want to change this. Some of the people who are actually using the 10-year-old, 15-year-old business products is that they hesitate to do this. There's a lot of challenges. So this idea is actually beneficial both for the user and the company, because if they see someone is not forcing them with these malicious, practices and marketing practices and sales practices, and these business practices, they might be like getting the trust much more easier to your product than to your rival. And the other benefit that it has to the business owner is that it, like I said, it can help you, put together a good amount of money right away at the beginning, because with SaaS you have to, calculate a lot of things like LTV, lifetime value. You have to always have this solid increasing growth over time. It's very important that everyone is, for example, it changes from business to business, but it should be subscribed to your service at least a year, so you can just say, hey, I broke even and I am just starting to profiting with this specific user. Like I said, it changes from business to business, but it is very important. But with one of the business model, you can say, okay, I sold this product. It doesn't mean that I just wave hands goodbye to the user. I can still provide support to the product, even if they are on a lifetime subscription, or even charge them a fee for the support on top of the main product that they just purchased. That's also a possibility. But you can say, all right, I build this product in the course of 3 to 6 months, and then I'm selling this in a one-off model to 1,000 people. And the 1,000 people will leave me with like $100,000, $200,000, whatever in my pocket, that I can just use it to do whatever I want, to build another product. I don't know, invest it and diversify my investments, whatever. So it's beneficial in both sides.
That's true. And what also happened before was you bought a version of a product for a bigger amount of money, let's say 500 euros. And then 2 years later, the company made the next version and maybe had some advantages that the other product didn't have, and you want to buy it as well. So you had kind of recurring revenue, but it wasn't monthly, but it was more like yearly or 2 yearly, something like that, because people were buying the new versions of your product, but then giving you a lot of money in just one go. And
Yeah.
I think it's true. Money today is worth than money tomorrow. I mean, if you have €1 today, it's worth more than €1 in 1 year because of inflation, right? So it's a good point that you made, that the bigger money up front is better for the company to also reinvest and do all of the stuff. On the other hand, if you wanted to sell your company, this type of recurring revenue is always nice in the eyes of investors, right? If they want to buy your company, then they say, okay, you have some recurring revenue monthly, and you might get a higher amount of money that you could just sell your business for.
Exactly.
But I don't know if that was your goal. For me personally, I usually thought when I just started out with business, I always thought it's like my baby, right? How can I sell my baby? Nowadays, I'm also thinking a little more about, okay, if I'm going to do a business, I might sell it, because I mean it's a big amount of money on just one go. How's that for you? What do you think about selling businesses?
Well, I'm open. I'm much more open to this than I was before. Like you said, this bound that you developed with your product over time, this can go, detrimental and toxic at some point. You have to be aware of that, and I'm much more open to it. Um, thing is that it's very much, based. This is a decision very much based on the whole perspective of yours. If you want to build something, if you want to build the next unicorn, looking to attract the attention of investors and raise some funds right away, and not exit until you have like I don't know $100,000 per month, $100,000 of monthly revenue. You don't want to make an exit. Well, yeah, SaaS is the right way to go. You have to show that to investors, and they are much more, interested in that type of business model. But if you are not interested in this pathway that has a lot of challenges next to its advantages, of course, the dependency that you will have to the investors, not dependency, but you actually have to respond to them, you have to report back to them, you might lose your independence and authority over your product. Changes, of course, based on the agreement. But there's a high chance that you are not the sole owner of your product anymore and might lose your vote to it. And then once you raise some money, you have to be much more careful about the stuff that you don't have the risk margin that you used to have before investors, which is like an essential thing in a startup. You have to be open to challenges, and you might be ready to take some risks. Once you are relying on someone else's money, well, you lose that margin. This type of things. If you do not want to take these risks, and you're not interested in this pathway, it's better to stay bootstrapped. That's what we have done so far, at least. All the products that we have built so far are bootstrapped. We never raised money. It's not that we never um, tried or attempted to, but at the end of the day, we didn't raise. With some of them, we had a meeting, but we didn't come into an understanding and an agreement. But at the end of the day, we are a profiting company with like a portfolio of products without relying on someone else's money. I know that it's not much trending or it's not giving you a good PR, but at the end of the day, it's something unique. There are some entrepreneurs out there, like this company that I told you, the Signal 360 or something. I don't remember the name. The company behind Basecamp. They're also bragging about this in a positive way. That we are also a company that never relied on investors or fundraisers' money. That gives you a unique attribute that not many has actually. If you are thinking about the PR and that side of the things, so it's highly related to your perspective and what you want to become, the way you choose to go in your career.
That's a good point. I also don't want to have any investors in my company as of right now, right? Because for a marketing company, I don't see a lot of sense to get investors. You can get things going if you work a little more than you should work, maybe. But when it comes to bigger SaaS companies or whatever, where you have to put some investment up front to build a product, to build a SaaS, then of course you have to have investors. But me personally, I like, probably you the same way, I like to just make decisions on my own or just with the closest circle. I mean, you have your product and your company, and to have no outsiders in this, because there might some innovative ideas that I have that I want to try, and the investor would come along and say, no, we cannot do it. Just follow the same path as you're going right now. And that's something I would really want to prevent. I mean, it depends also on the person of investor that you have in your boat.
Of
But
course.
yeah, it's always good to start the first company, I think, without an investor, just from your own pocket, because then you have to find the marketing methods that really work without budgets, and you have to put in a lot of work to find them. and it will be worth it because you will learn so much more along the way. If you start off with, let's say, 500,000 in investment, and you immediately have a marketing budget, it's so easy to burn marketing budget. It's so easy. Me
Yes.
myself, I burned a whole lot of marketing budget. Also, we were successful, but I'm honest right here. I burned a whole lot of cash with these hands. So there's so much stuff that you can do, that can go wrong, and there's no worse feeling than burning maybe 50,000 of your own money, and
Yeah. It's
luckily,
very ironic.
yeah.
It is very ironic because there are people I know very close friend, one of my close friends who got to raise some, funds and got investments. I think 2 rounds of investments. And you know what's their biggest challenge is to spend the money that you have raised, because the investor says, "Hey, you have to spend this money by this specific time. You have like 6 months to raise this. That's how it works." And they say, "Hey, we are builders. We are product builders. We don't even know how to spend this money, and we know some ways that we can put this into good use, but it will take uh, more than 6 months, or if not even that." It's not going to be by paying to Google Ads. It's going to be like some other innovative, and more aligned with growth hacking methods. But they say, "Hey, I don't know what growth hacking is. I know that some people will end up clicking on those ads in Google. I won't allow you to put my money in some unknown, some experimental, whatever practices that you have in mind." So at some point, maybe, of course, this is not everyone's case, but at some point you might see like this money is just damaging you than benefiting you and your product. This type of problems are there as well.
And also you have a tight deadline to your business. I mean, you have to spend the money, and then you run out of money once it's spent. So you cannot really save this type of money, and everything that you make into the company is also part of the investor's money. So he also has a saying with what you do with the next money. So there's like it's not just on your shoulders that this company is going to last forever, but also on your investors' side. And if they want to bankrupt you, then they're going to bankrupt you. That's also their decision. And
That's exactly.
that's something I'm very careful with, because especially in the beginning, especially with the first business, I think it has to be something that's your baby, and that has you to make you some good income, and then maybe after this is running very well, then you can start with the next one. But just as I said before with the Xbox, right? Finish the first job. Dude, if it takes half an hour, we're going to sit here half an hour. If it takes 3 years, 5 years, we're going to sit here 5 years or 10 years. But then, okay, we learn so much from just going with the small budgets and being on our own. Then you can be smart to go into to investors. Because the other thing what I see is people, they just want to attract investors. But this is the wrong thinking, man. What's the part about the investors that is so great? You want to attract customers first. That's how you attract the investors, right? You want to have customers, and then investors are going to come by themselves. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they see it the wrong way. Okay, maybe it's not easy to build a product from just a start off, but maybe you have some idea and you can already talk to the market and already sell some pre-version, or some pre, you can make some pre-sale where you sell something before you have it even, and then once they get it even like for some sale price. But
Yes, exactly.
that's what I see in the entrepreneur world, what is going wrong right now.
Yes, and there's a lot of other challenges in raising funds and investments that just is beyond your control. You might build the best product in the world that an investor is sure to profit from it, but you have a limited reach to an investor, a possible investor, than someone who is sitting in Silicon Valley, or knows or connected to a circle of investors in A60Z, right? Or knows this person who knows this person. These are all the things that are part of the game in fundraising and in investments. Um, that can just change the course of the game, even if you have the best product in the world. So that's one way. If you want to build something, the next unicorn, and you're very sure about it, you want to make it part of your life's work, and you want to be there with it for like 5 years, 10 years, and then might want to go for investments. And you're good with outreaching, and you have a good network and stuff. You might want to go with investments. But if not, maybe the best way is to just thinking of building a product and exit at some point, exit to someone who wants to take it from where you left off, and your mission is over. You have more diverse portfolio that way. You don't spend your entire lifetime with a product in your most productive years with a product, right? Of course, if you're not working on a Spotify or something, I don't know, the next big thing. But if you're aiming to build good products and make good money, um, well, I think that's a better strategy. Make good products, start small, and then develop a user base, an honest and loyal user base, and then improve it maybe by one more year. In a year and a half or two years maximum, your product it should be in a stage of selling it to someone else. Not that you abandon it, but selling it to the right person that you trust and you think is going to take care of your product in a good way. And that's a whole different strategy that I'm actually more aligned with.
These are
More.
great points. These are great
Yeah.
points. Let's come to my last question, Maziar. Is there some other book that you can recommend? I know you already recommended two books. I'm going to put them in the description. But is there some other book that you would love the audience to read?
I have a lot of recommendations, but not all of them are directly related to the discussion. Uh, if I'm allowed, I can share one that I really admire and is like a principal part of my vision, the way I'm thinking, my perception, and everything. That book is called. That book is authored by Carl Gustav Jung, and the English equivalent, I think, is Man and His Symbols. Let me just look it up. Yes, Man and His Symbols by Carl G. Jung.
Okay.
So this book is important for me because it gives you a very deep understanding of humans' perception and how it's affected by the things that he's not directly aware of. That's our collective consciousness. So there are different like uh, fields in psychology. One is um, the Freudian psychology, and one is let's say Lacan psychology, a little bit different, even though beginning close to each other, close to Freud's. And then we have this whole different thing of Jung, which is collective consciousness. And it tells you how whatever your ancestors, whatever your predecessors, the previous generation has done, has dreamed about, has thought about, they are actually recorded in our collective understanding, and it's inherited by the succeeding generations, and they are all affected by that. We are all affected by that as well. So this gives you a good understanding of these values and how these functions in everyone's consciousness, and it's rooted from an collective consciousness, but it is reflected and it's affecting our personal consciousness as well. And this is useful in and related to our topic because marketing and sales is all about you know
Psychology.
psychology. First of all, before everything, it's about psychology. You have to validate yourself. You have to validate your idea. You have to validate your product in someone's mind and in their point of view. And all these are rooted from cognitive and psychological functions. If you happen to trigger the right function, the right bias in their mind, they will vote for you. They will vouch for you. They will be interested in you. And if someone else who's giving a poor and lower product or service than you do, but they are making use of these biases and triggering the right trigger in the audience's mind, they will win at the end of the day, despite not giving the best product. So I would definitely recommend this book as well.
Perfect, perfect. This is a great recommendation, Maziar. I thank you a lot for this interview. It was exciting. I had a lot of fun, and I also learned a lot of stuff. And I wish you only the best for Artbees and yeah, for the future.
Thank you very much, Noah. It was a pleasure. Likewise, I wish all the best for you and your audience.
Thank you, man. Thank you. See you.